yourself. Face ID, you can always skip this. So if you're setting this up, maybe you're gonna sell it, you don't wanna import any personal information, go ahead and tap on setup later. However, if this phone is for you, then go ahead and set up Face ID. So to set up Face ID, it's really easy. All we have to do is just tap on continue on, and then just move your face kind of like this. Just around in circles, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna show you what that means right now. So get started. And there we go, that's all I had to do. So we can scan this again to use Face ID with a mask or not. So I'm gonna choose not, because I don't see that necessary at the moment, but you guys can definitely do that. And then just going to continue. Create a passcode. Now keep in mind, you do have other options, so you can go into passcode options and go ahead and choose any of these. So there are other options. At this point, I'm going to choose cancel. I'm just going to put some random thing, but make sure something secure to you guys. So it's going to ask you to re-enter that passcode, and then you guys can continue on with the whole setup. So right here, we can transfer stuff. So if you had another iPhone, maybe iPad as well, you could go ahead and download things here. So you guys could have a backup on your iCloud, which, by the way, to transfer stuff over using iCloud, it is actually free. So you don't need to purchase iCloud space just for that. So just make sure to do that if you have one. If you don't, you can go ahead and just don't transfer anything. If you guys had an Android before, I would still choose not to transfer anything, because Android it just doesn't work that well. So just going to don't transfer anything. You're brand new to this. From here, if you don't have an Apple ID, at this point in case, you guys will have to create one. So you see this down here below, other sign-in options. You've got this, use another device to sign in. So that assumes you have an iPhone or something like that. Use multiple accounts. We're not gonna do that, but you do have those options. Now, if you don't have an account, you can tap down here below. You guys can put forgot password if that's your problem. You guys can create an account right now, okay? And if you guys don't want to import any personal information, you can set up later in settings. So that's also an option right there. So you don't need to actually sign in with your Apple ID to set this up if you don't want to import any personal information. However, we're going to assume you guys are brand new. So create an Apple account. So tap there. From here, it's just going to ask you first name, last name, date of birth, continue on. Then it's going to ask you for go ahead and put in your email account. So you do need an email account, and then you will be done. So whether you guys put in Apple ID or you didn't set that up, you guys can go on and update your iPhone automatically. So go ahead and choose whichever makes sense to you. You guys can download automatically or just continue on. So I would just choose continue on. Then from here, iMessage and FaceTime. For sure, set that up. So continue. Then from here, location. You do need your location, even if you don't want to import personal information. It's good so you guys can test out the maps and all that stuff. So I'm going to turn on location services. Screen time. This is good if you have kids. So you guys can control them with screen time. Plus, you guys can set up restrictions here. However, if you're an adult, most likely you don't really care how much time you spend on your screen. Unless you do, then go ahead and set it up. Most of you won't care, so set up later in settings. Then right here, analytics. Do you want to share that with Apple? Yes or no? I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm also going to share with Apple developers. Well, app developers. And that's because it's just to make things better. So right now, we can choose light or dark display. What does this mean? Well, dark makes it look like so, and automatic will make it look like this during the day, and then dark, which is this one, during the nighttime. So it's easier on your eyes. I usually like dark. However, for this video, light mode will be better, just so you guys can see better. Just for the video. Silent mode. So this is important for you guys to see because you guys can always put silent mode. It's something that people forget around a lot. So we're just going to continue on. And then we're going to be almost done. So you guys can customize your action button. Your action button would be up here. So this would be to toggle silent mode on and off. However, you can also customize this. You guys can customize it later on as well. What I suggest doing is just set it up later. You might find that you don't want this to be just silent mode. Maybe you don't put your phone on silent that much. So you want to customize this to be something else. But I think that's something that you have to figure out on your own to see whether that's worth it or not. And it's going to be definitely worth it for those of you who don't use silent mode on and off all the time. But some people put it always on silent once they get to work. Once they're out of work, they turn it off again. Some people always have it on silent mode, so they can customize that to be something else, that it does something else. I'm going to choose not now. Then from here, camera control. So we're just going to continue on with that. It's going to show you here because that's something that's new. So it's important that they're giving you a quick tutorial to it. Again, camera controls here. Continue on. Siri. Siri, again, don't want to import anything personal. Set up later in settings. However, I'm going to teach you how to set up Siri right now. All right, so we're just going to choose to set it up. And then from here, just choose whichever voice you like the best. I find that the most normal one, the one I'm used to, is number 4.
The colors of the sky fade with the setting sun.
And then I'm going to go into right now. Siri, how's the weather? Hey Siri, send a message. Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes. Hey Siri, get directions home. Siri, play some music. So what I basically did there was just read what it said, and now it recognizes my voice. Will it recognize other people's voice? It actually does, but it'll respond more to your own voice. Continue on. You can share your recordings. A lot of people don't like this. Choose not now. I don't care. I wanted this to be improved, so I'm going to share. And right now, emergency. So we're just going to continue that on. You're pretty much done at this point. Just scroll up. There you go. There's your iPhone ready to go. So which apps come in your phone already? Pre-installed, brand new, without you guys downloading anything, transferring anything on your iPhone 16, which is exactly the same apps as your other iPhones. If you guys have other iPhones such as 16 Pro, 16 Plus, 16 Pro Max, these are all the apps. So if you scroll through, you're going to see these guys. So you guys can see them all organized in here, but there aren't any more apps. If you guys want to download more apps, let me just show you what's in here in utilities. There's some there. Plus, that's it. These are widgets, by the way, which you guys can customize them later on. But like I said, if you guys want to download more, just go into your app store and do it from there. Watch the manual for your iPhone so you guys can see how to handle this. Because this is, of course, just a setup video if you guys want to know how to use your iPhone. I do have a separate video that shows you the manual of how to use your phone. But right now, what you guys should do is go into your settings and make any updates that are missing. So right here, you're going to see finish up setting up your phone. Maybe some of you may see that, some others not. Go into general and just check for software updates. Just make sure you're all up to date. But anyways, as far as this video goes, we're all done. If you guys have any comments, questions, you guys can write down in the comments area. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.